What I'm going to talk about is the importance of an overall image and brand to a country, particularly when you're talking about a small country, because, as I said just now, small countries have to fight much, much, much harder to be heard, to be seen, to be listened to. And I think that the reality is that Malta's fundamentals are very, very strong. The government seems to be doing really well. The economic numbers are good, and that message needs to be out there, I think, more than it is now. And what I'm going to talk about is the way that can be done best if everybody signs up to the same basic sense of what the country is trying to communicate as a country. And that doesn't have to be a political thing. It doesn't just have to be Labour or nationalist, but actually business can support the government in trying to project a sense of Malta as being a good place to work and do business. And the other thing is to make sure that the people who are here, the many foreign companies that you've got located here and who are committed to staying here, that they become part of a campaign of, if you like, an ambassadorial role. Because in what has become an incredibly competitive and globalized economy, what people around the world think when they hear the name of a country or the name of a city, it matters. It's really important.
So what do you think when you listen to the word Malta?
Well, people, that's a very, very good question, which I'm going to zone in on that a bit tomorrow, because I think most countries, if you say the country, most people have the same sense of it. If I say China, if I say Russia, if I say Britain, if I say France, and we all then wrote down a few words about what we think, most of us would be in the same place. And I think Malta, it doesn't have a bad image at all, but it doesn't have that powerful sense of what it's about. I think probably the first thing I think of is European. I think I probably think European Union. Now, I don't know if that's a good thing to think or a bad thing, but that's probably what I think. And then, of course, people have their own. The other important thing to remember is people have their own personal connections with places. The first time I ever came here was as a journalist for the Bush-Gorbachev summit. So that's probably still my most powerful memory of Malta, because it was such a big event. It was huge. And now, I think it's probably somewhere between sunshine and European Union. Although I have to say, when I first came here, for the Bush-Gorbachev, it was vile. The weather was absolutely dreadful. So, I don't know, but I do think that's the question that governments and businesses have to ask themselves. What do you want people to think when you say Malta? Do you want them to think tourism? Do you want them to think nice place to live? Do you want them to think nice weather? Do you want them to think welcoming? Those conversations are worth having as a way of really drilling down and honing a strategic message for the country as a whole to communicate.
What is the key to remain attractive?
I think the stability, training and education, businesses understanding that if they come to a place like Malta, that they'll be taken seriously, they'll be listened to, they'll be able to communicate what they're trying to do to government, support for capital investment. And I think they also do want a sense of this being a nice place to live, to be based, and where you've got a good workforce. And you've got all those things. You have all those things. So therefore, you probably could be out there with that message much more aggressively than you are.